The recent clash between Europe and China is escalating tensions among giants in the electric vehicle sector, promising an electrifying spectacle. German car manufacturers sound the alarm, fearing a global setback in trade. They warn the European Union of severe retaliations. Let's delve into the latest developments in this high-stakes confrontation. We'll discuss what's at stake and the potential consequences of an intense trade war focused on electric vehicles. Get ready to grasp the nuances of this economic duel, presented clearly for everyone. European investigation into Chinese cars. Chinese electric cars are gaining ground on the global stage, sparking curiosity and excitement. However, Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, is attentive to this situation. Recently, she initiated an investigation into the imports of these Chinese vehicles, a move comparable to poking a hornet's nest. In her annual State of the Union address, von der Leyen emphasized that the extremely low prices of Chinese electric cars are problematic. She pointed out that China is heavily subsidizing these vehicles, negatively impacting the European car market. This issue is crucial as China is a key player in battery production for these cars. Global electric vehicle sales are expected to grow by a third this year, reaching an impressive value of $560 billion. The European Union fears losing out without fair competition for all. French ministers support the investigation, emphasizing the need to continue with it. If it is confirmed that Chinese subsidies violate World Trade Organization rules, Europe is ready to respond. However, European car manufacturers, especially the Germans with a significant presence in China, are apprehensive. There's concern about a potential Chinese retaliation to the investigation. China and EU. Controversial investigation. China, so far, has remained silent. However, the China Chamber of Commerce to the EU expressed discontent on social media, criticizing the recent investigation. But why is this relevant? China dominates 60% of global battery production. There is concern in Brussels that, without action, Chinese companies could lead the electric vehicle market, especially as the West seeks to reduce dependence on fuel-consuming cars. In the United States, a similar debate is underway. The White House is exploring ways to prevent Chinese technology from unduly benefiting from subsidies. Even renowned companies like Ford import batteries from China. Ursula von der Leyen initiated this action less than a week after a meeting with the Chinese leader, who called for a fair and balanced market in Europe. This issue is central to international relations. This move gives Valdis Dombrovskis, the EU Commissioner for Trade, a strong hand for his visit to Beijing on September 25th. He will alert China to the need to open its market and balance the trade deficit. This meeting is a prelude to a broader summit between the West and China, expected later this year. Interestingly, the European Commission initiated the investigation independently, without prior complaints. Investigation and its impact on the automotive sector. Germany's renowned automotive brands are deeply immersed in business in China, boasting large-scale factories in the nation. Volkswagen once held the top spot, while BMW and Mercedes-Benz now lead the luxury segment. Therefore, if China decides to retaliate, the impact on Germany will be significantly greater than on any other country. Simultaneously, French car brands claim to have pushed for this investigation. However, the focus is not solely on China. Germany is also under scrutiny. In China, French companies hold only a tiny market share, precisely 0.4%. In contrast, German brands enjoy a considerable share of 17%. An informant from a prominent German company hinted that France is not just confronting Beijing but also keeping an eye on its German competitors. A potential trade war would put everyone in an unfavorable situation. Robert Habeck, Germany's Minister of Economics, expressed that the goal is to ensure fair competition. If the investigation reveals significant violations of standards, corrective actions will be necessary. The German automotive industry is notably uneasy about the EU's probe into Chinese electric vehicles and the potential ramifications. Habeck raised a warning flag during an event in Berlin, mentioning the possibility of Chinese retaliation if the EU imposes tariffs on Chinese electric cars. Interestingly, French automakers do not share the same level of concern as the Germans regarding China, as their sales in the country are much lower. Therefore, they do not fear potential Chinese retaliatory tariffs on their products as much. But Germany, whose cars are highly valued in China, faces intense pressure due to the ongoing investigation. Habeck was clear in stating that if the European Union finds evidence of China granting illegal subsidies to its electric vehicle manufacturers, anti-subsidy tariffs could be implemented. However, a point of divergence arises. France and Germany are not aligned in their perspectives on this matter. Habeck pointed out that for France, the impact is not as significant, given its limited participation in the Chinese automotive market. Harmonizing these divergent perspectives between the two countries is proving to be a challenging task. Some industry experts, speaking confidentially, suggest that France may see this investigation as an opportunity to compete with its German rivals. What was once a friendly rivalry now threatens to turn hostile. At the same event, Georg Kükes, chief advisor to German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, expressed support for the EU's anti-subsidy investigation. He emphasized the need for a solid foundation before taking any trade measures. However, it remains uncertain whether Chinese manufacturers are indeed flooding the European market with discounted cars. Matthias Schmidt, a renowned automotive analyst, argues that Chinese manufacturers may be profiting in Europe, despite tariffs and transportation costs, by selling cars at higher prices. They are playing shrewdly. China, with its strong state support, has focused on electrification, targeting the luxury segment rather than competing on price in the mass market. The situation complicates when the European Commission officially initiates the anti-subsidy investigation. It will be the responsibility of the Trade Department to gather evidence that China is providing subsidies to companies exporting electric vehicles to the EU and that this is harming the European automotive industry. A commercial law expert highlighted that such a task will not be straightforward. Commission investigations often have a political bias, and political pressure is expected. Simone Tagliapietra, commenting on the process, emphasized that this is just the beginning of a long journey. Imposing import tariffs will take time and will require significant efforts from the EU. This in-depth analysis summarizes the EU's investigation into Chinese electric vehicles and the tensions generated in the global automotive industry. The differences in perspective between Germany and France and the fear of a trade war with China add complexity to this scenario. What are your thoughts on this investigation? Do you believe it is a necessary step to level the playing field, or do you see it as a risky move that could provoke retaliations? Share your opinion in the comments below.